Republican Congressman Tony Gonzales from Texas, member of the Homeland Security and Appropriations Committees, joins me now. Thank you very much on this day after Thanksgiving. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. Great to see you.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Julie. We had a great holiday.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a new report that says that Texas is looking at a plan to basically, ramp up its ability to get these illegal immigrants and either send them back if they're criminals in the mass migration or the mass deportation program that the president has emphasized. And Tom Homan obviously has made it a very clear case for him. But what do you think of the future plans of this administration and trying to reverse the damage that's been done, specifically with these children? That video of that 10-year-old was absolutely heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah, Julie, it's absolutely terrible. There's story after story. I remember 2 years ago, we found a baby there outside of Eagle Pass that was covered in ants. Thankfully, that small infant was able to survive. But there's story after story, literally every single week. And I'm glad that we have a new administration coming in. 2025 needs to be a new start, but this also isn't just going to go away overnight. It is literally going to take years for us to fix the damage that the Biden administration has caused. What we've done in the House as House Republicans on the Appropriations Committee is we have defunded the CBP One app. That CBP One app has failed Americans.
Oh,
and
it's
so
a disaster.
That needs to go away.
I want to talk about that. I don't understand who in their right mind thought that this would be a good idea. That recent report that we just mentioned from the DHS Inspector General finding that federal agencies didn't fully assess the risk of releasing non-citizens without identification into the U.S., essentially allowing them to travel anywhere they want in the United States without an ID. That report said that it may inadvertently increase national security risks. Oh, you think? I mean, they didn't fully assess the risks. What did they think was going to happen after they gave migrants the CBP One app or DHS-issued immigration forms, which basically allows them to fly around for free around the country without having to show ID or passports? And not only that, they can connect to other flights. So there's no way you're going to track them. So you're essentially saying you get a free pass.
You're exactly right. And this is what the Biden administration has done is they started by not being transparent and trying to sell one thing to the American people. And at the end of their administration, they were open about what they were trying to do. Essentially, the last chain in this smuggling episode was being paid by taxpayer dollars. You have people unvetted. They're going all over the country. They completely circumvented the system using the CBP One app. So once again, House Republicans, by using the power of the purse, we've zeroed that out in this year's appropriations. That's a start. We need to get that over the finish line. The other piece of it, too, is Mexico plays a part in this. And look, Mexico is Texas's #1 trading partner. We want to be partners. But for 4 years, the Biden administration has allowed Mexico to get away with murder, literally, by allowing fentanyl and all these criminal aliens into our country. That has to stop. And this is where I appreciate President Trump being firm with some of our neighbors and saying, hey, look, there's a new sheriff in town and there's going to be a different way of doing business. It's long time Americans get put first in this equation.
Yeah, well, that's where Trump's tariffs on Mexico are going to come into play. And that's why the Mexican president all of a sudden is starting to play ball, because she knows that this president is going to mean business when it comes to stopping the illegal flow of migrants into this country. I want you to listen to this. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, as you know, notching a legal win in his fight to use razor wire along his state's border in order to deter illegal migrants. There's a federal appeals court which blocked Biden officials from removing the razor wire set up in Eagle Pass. It ruled that it was wrong for them to cut the wire back in December of last year. Incoming border czar Tom Homan telling the New York Post, and I quote, "We're going to help them finish this job and secure Texas, and we're going to work in partnership." And Abbott doesn't have to worry about this administration suing him to secure his state's border. So finally, the governor has some power back in his hands. This is something that he's been trying to get the Biden administration to do, to cooperate with them, but instead they've bussed these migrants into Democratic cities to try to sort of show the administration who's boss, but really who's suffered mostly are the taxpayers that are now footing the bill. So what do you think? What do you think of this?
Yeah, Julie, for 4 years, Texans have had to go it alone. Not only go it alone, we've had to fight the federal government to basically keep us safe. And that's coming to an end. You look at essentially what the governor is trying to do is just keep Texans safe. And last Christmas, I was there in Eagle Pass. And it was literally the worst I've seen it. tens of thousands of people coming over daily, and the only thing that was stopping them was our Texas DPS doing its job to keep us safe. And what I said then rings true today. What about us? What about our lives? What about our safety? What about, as American citizens, what about us? This is where the Biden administration has failed us all, and has put other people ahead of us. What you're going to see is a big shift in 2025, and that starts with securing our border. If somebody comes over illegally and they do not qualify for asylum, they need to immediately get sent back to their country of origin, not bused, not flown throughout the country, making Americans' lives less safe. Once again, what about us? I think that's coming in 2025.
Yeah, well, that was what Title 42 was supposed to do, but then the Biden administration upended that. There's also the humanitarian crisis to keep in mind, the 300,000 children that have crossed over our borders under this administration, and they don't know where their parents are. They don't have... Listening to 10-year-olds sit there at the border with a cell phone, crying, having no idea where this family is. I have a 12-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 14-year-old. I cannot even imagine. It is heartbreaking to watch as a parent. It's just awful.
A generation of kids have been lost, regardless of their legal status. A generation of children have been lost because of the Biden administration.
It's horrifying. Congressman Gonzales, great to see you. Thank you very much for your insight. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Julie.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.